The History of China by Angelina Felipe
and Callejo Dennis. Section 1. The Qin Dynasty, the Sui Tang Song Dynasty, the Period of Disunion, and the Age of Buddhism.
The Qin Dynasty.
The Qin Dynasty was founded in 221 BC by Shi Huangdi and collapsed in 206 BC. The dynasty connected the warring states and brought peace to China. Shi Huangdi was the first emperor of the Qin Dynasty. He lived from 259 BC to 210 BC. Emperor Shi Huangdi began the construction of the Great Wall of China, which stretched from the sea in the east to the Gobi Desert in the west. The Great Wall of China is known as one of the longest structures ever built. It was known as the Long Graveyard because of the large amount of people that were buried in the wall during its construction. By 210 BC, the wall stretched out over 3,000 miles.
Another one of the reasons Shi Huangdi is known is because of his epic tomb called the Tomb of Shi Huangdi. The Tomb of Shi Huangdi is famous for the thousands of clay warriors surrounding the tomb, called the Terracotta Army. Luckily, the tomb was put to good use because Shi Huangdi died from ingesting mercury. He thought from that he would be immortal. Idiot.
Back to the Qin Dynasty. The Qin Dynasty invented the first movable type printing, the foot soldier, and iron. The Sui Tang and Song Dynasty. The Sui Dynasty began around 581 AD and was created by Yang Jian. He conquered southern China and reunited the country.
The Grand Canal also began during the Sui Dynasty and linked northern and southern China.
The Tang Dynasty was started when a former Sui official overthrew the Sui government.
They ruled for nearly 300 years from 618 AD to 907 AD and controlled Eastern and Central Asia.
One of the Tang rulers was Taizong, who helped China's unification by reforming the military, creation of law codes, and the equal field system, which was a land reform policy.
Another one of the Tang rulers was Empress Wu. She began ruling in 655 and was the only woman to rule China. She also had a very strict system, and some may say she even ruled with an iron fist.
When the Tang Dynasty fell, China entered approximately 53 years of chaos. This was also known as 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms, and lasted from 907 AD to 960 AD. Thanks for ruining it.
The Song Dynasty reunited China and lasted from 960 AD to 1279 AD. The period of disunion. The period of disunion started in 220 AD when the Han Dynasty collapsed.
During the period of disunion, war was common. While some peaceful developments were made, nomadic people decided to settle in northern China, and some of the locals adopted nomads culture.
The period of disunion finally ended in 589 AD when Yan Zhi created the Sui Dynasty.
The Age of Buddhism. During the period of disunion, many people turned to Buddhism and looked for comfort in its teachings. Buddhism was well established by the end of the period of disunion.
Buddhist temples soon arose across the land thanks to the donations given by the wealthy.
As Buddhism continued to influence the life in China, it also spread throughout Japan, Korea, and other areas. The Age of Buddhism ended when a Tang emperor campaigned against the religion by burning Buddhist texts, took Buddhist temple lands, and destroyed temples, and overall weakened Buddhist influence.
Section 2. The Tang and Song Dynasty.
Tang and Song Dynasty. Paper was used during the Han Dynasty. Porcelain was first made during the Tang Dynasty and was perfected centuries later. It was used by artists to make famous work. Woodblock printing was invented during the Tang Dynasty and helped copy drawings faster.
Gunpowder was invented during the late Tang and early Song Dynasty. It was originally used in fireworks and eventually was used for explosives, firearms, and cannons. Paper money was invented by the Song Dynasty and helped the Chinese manage their growing wealth. Gunpowder was invented during the late Tang and early Song Dynasty. It was originally used in fireworks and eventually was used for explosives, firearms, and cannons. Paper money was invented by the Song Dynasty and helped the Chinese manage their growing wealth. Magnetic compasses was improved by the Tang Dynasty and allowed traveling through vast distances.
Irrigation techniques that the Chinese used were underground wells and dragon backbone pumps. The dragon backbone pump allowed people to do the work of several and could scoop water and pour it in irrigation canals.
Section 3. Confucianism, Scholar, Official, and Neo-Confucianism.
Confucianism. Confucianism was a philosophy during the Han Dynasty from which it originated from. Confucianism was based off the teachings of Confucius, who was a Chinese philosopher, and lived around 1,500 years before the Song Dynasty. Confucianism focused on proper behavior for individuals and government. The two basic principles that Confucian ideas are based on are Ren and Li. Li stood for appropriate behavior and Ren was concern for others. It was thought that society would function better if people followed Ren and Li. However, during the period of disunion, Confucianism was replaced by Buddhism.
Scholar officials.
Scholar officials were formed by a bureaucracy or a body of unelected government officials. In order to become a scholar official, people studied Confucianism and other related ideas for years because the exams that were given were so difficult. Very little people even went on to work for the government, but passing the test meant working for the government for life.
Neo-Confucianism.
Confucianism was made in the late Tang Dynasty to improve the teachings of Confucianism. It emphasized spiritual matters and Buddhism and Taoist religion about the meaning of life. It became the official government teaching in China after the Song Dynasty. Neo-Confucianism improved Chinese government and society.
The Yuan Dynasty.
The Yuan Dynasty lasted from 1271 AD to 1368 AD. It was known as the Mongol Empire because it was the only dynasty in China that was ruled by foreigners. The dynasty was founded by Genghis Khan, but was passed down to his grandson, Kublai Khan, who became emperor in 1279. The Yuan dynasty ended when the Black Plague was killing everyone, the government and army corrupted, and peasants rebelled.
The Ming Dynasty.
The Ming Dynasty was founded by Zhou Yuanzhen and lasted from 1368 to 1644. The Ming Dynasty was known as China's Golden Age. It was the most stable and prosperous times. After a century of Mongol domination, China was returned to its rightful ruler. It was ruled by authentic Hans. The Ming Dynasty had total domination as a naval fleet with 27,000 sailors and soldiers. It had patrol boats, supply ships, and 337 ocean-going ships. The man behind us was Zheng He, who was one of the most powerful people in the Ming Dynasty. After Zheng He died, China's age of exploration ended and the new emperor burned down Zheng He's fleet. The Ming Dynasty reinforced the Great Wall of China to what it is today, over 6,000 miles sprawled across. From the Ming, there was economic growth and social movement.